Alright, I'm back. I am now moving on to the layout and photo part of things. Um, so we use InDesign CS6. Alright. We also use Photoshop CS6. I have Photoshop 7 already on my laptop because my laptop is a lot less powerful than my desktop. My desktop is super powerful, so I can run the latest stuff in conjunction with other things and not have a problem with power draining and all that, and PC consumption, because I do use PCs. I guess I should point that out too. I don't use Macs, I use PCs. Even though for what I do, I probably need to use a Mac, but Macs are super expensive and PCs are not. So I can get away with using, the lower scale stuff. Um, and besides, at home, I'm not doing as much as graphic. I'm not doing as graphically intensive as I would be at work with stuff. And even at work, I'm not even doing that much graphic intensive stuff. I'm doing stuff, but it's not nearly as much as, say, our graphic designer does. Because we have a graphic designer at my job whose sole job is to produce graphics for the newspaper. And she is really good. Really good. I wish I were as half as talented as she is. But she needs a Mac. And so, please help our poor little newspaper. We need Macs. But she needs a Mac, and because she does a lot of graphically intensive things, and she draws maps, and she uses Illustrator a lot, which I also have on my desktop. I've been using Illustrator to do. I'm going to start using it to do our comics and our maps and things. I just recently got, once I upgraded to CS6, excuse me. Once I upgraded to CS6, I then got Adobe Illustrator. So, for people like me, I do need that kind of thing. So, we'll see. And I like Illustrator. I actually really like how Illustrator works. It's a lot like Photoshop, and I can use Photoshop pretty well. So, speaking of Photoshop, we're going to get started. And I'm going to start recording my desktop now so that it is recording again. So also in the previous video, I don't know if you guys could see it, but yes, I did make that background for myself. The heart bleeds for no one and nothing. I was in a particularly emo mood, and so I was going to be all melodramatic and make things, and so I decided I was just going to make a background in Photoshop for my desktop computer. So I usually use backgrounds and things from smashingmagazine.com because they're really awesome and they're web-based and stuff. So this background is my own, but usually I have a background up from them on my desktop. So we're going to go into InDesign, and as you can see, I just clicked into it. InDesign is an interesting program. If you know anything about layout and how things are supposed to look, if you've used anything, say, like Microsoft Publisher, PageMaker, what used to be Adobe PageMaker, you can use this. You could probably use this. It's not hard. It takes a little getting used to. It's one of those things that once you start playing around with it, you can do all kinds of crazy shit with it. Okay? Like, you can make stuff look awesome. Also, if you've used Quark Express, of course. Quark used to be the industry standard. And if you could use Quark, you can use InDesign. There's no learning curve. It's just knowing the different shortcuts and stuff. So, we're going to open up our front page, one of our previous front pages. From Gaming Insurrection. And we're going to do 2013 first quarter because it's the most recent one that I have. And as you can see in this layout folder, previously I'd explained about the 3 folders that I keep for myself. Well, layout is one of the other folders. And in this folder, I have my InDesign documents that I make. I go through, once I know what everything is, I make a document in InDesign that says, hey, this is what this is supposed to be. This is the page number. And I give it a slug, again, with that's consistent. First quarter 2013, whatever it is, and then the page numbers. So the only one that doesn't have a page number I just noticed is the game of the quarter. Um, and I'm not sure why I took the page number off of that, but that's probably because had to go back in and fix it. So um, here we're going to I also have two other folders. One that says proofs and one that says final. Proofs is for just what it says, proofs. Once I've laid it out here in these InDesign documents, I will make a PDF of it, and so I can print it out later and edit that proof so that I can see if I've screwed something up with colors, or say a story doesn't end, or a photo is sized wrong or something like that. I can see that. And that's also what we do in the newspaper industry. When you're a copy editor and page designer, you have to print this out so that somebody else can look at it and say, okay, this needs to be, a bigger headline point size, or a bigger point size in your text, or, your photo is wrong or something like that. So, that's what the proofs folder is for. And we can you can't see anything in there because they're all PDFs, but, and in this final folder, there are the actual final PDFs that, came from the proofs. Once I've made all my changes and edited and marked everything up, and I've gone back and asked my writers questions and said, hey, is this right? Or, what's going on here? Should I know something different about this? That's what that final proof thing is. And those are the final PDFs in that folder are the ones that I combine in Adobe Acrobat to make the actual full complete issue of Gaming Insurrection. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up this front page, and we can show you what the front page looks like and how I actually do this. Now, I've been a page designer and a copy editor for 9 years. It will be 9 years this year. And I spent a lot of time doing page design. I started from scratch. I knew nothing about page design whatsoever once I started working and got out in the real world out of college. Because I didn't focus on that in school. I had no page design experience, really. I had copy editing experience, and I was a pretty good copy editor in college. And so, once I got out on my first job, I was literally thrown in feet first and said, okay, here you go. You can figure this out. You'll be all right. And so it was my job for the next year and a half to figure out how to do that. So that's what I learned to do. I am actually now pretty decent at it. I like to think. So we're going to go to the first page of Gaming Insurrection's cover. And this quarter, it just so happens we have Death Note Volume 5 and Otaku Corner. We have TMNT property review. It just so happens that both of these are strip previews. I don't know why I picked both strip previews, but usually I try to do a little something different and I try to promo different things at the top. And then we have our logo. This is the Gaming Insurrection logo. It is in a separate picture box. Then we have our date and our website and our page, what year it is and what number issue it is. We just started doing this probably I don't remember when I added that, but it is the 6th year of Gaming Insurrection. We started in 2002, so technically it's the 11th year of Gaming Insurrection, but I went on hiatus. It's the 6th year of the redesign and the relaunch. So there's a discrepancy of about 5 years there. But, hey, who's counting, really? And then there's this. This is usually what this will be, is our centerpiece. I try to promo whatever our centerpiece / feature is for the quarter. That is what this will usually be. Usually. As a matter of fact, 99.9% of the time, that is what it will be. In this quarter, it just so happens it's Crazy Taxi, and it's a classic focus. So I built this actually. I built it as two separate things. I built it in Photoshop and then did something a little different with it. But here, also down here at the bottom, we've been experimenting with having a promo down at the bottom as well of something like, say, our game of the quarter, with a little cutout of some of the characters from the games. So, and those cutouts were done in Photoshop. So, now the important thing about our front page to note here is that we use different fonts. We like to experiment with fonts. And as you can see, this is Swiss 721. We use Swiss 721 at work all the time. So I got used to using it, and I like it and its variations. Fonts are important, people. Typography is one of the most important things you could possibly have. Also, what I like here, I like using the Swiss 911. We use that font a lot. We use the Swiss family a lot in in at the newspaper, so I'm used to using that, and I feel comfortable with it and using it in my promos and stuff. And this is actually how our promos used to look for my newspaper. We actually used to do promos like this, but we just changed it like recently. So this font is Impact. This is Avant-Garde Gothic. I love that font. I love it. It is so versatile for me. It reminds me a lot of this of the Swiss font, where it's very versatile. So then you come down here and we've got our other pages, and the way this is set up is that you can put pages next to each other or however you want. But this is basically what our page looks like. And I lay out my own stuff. I did the cutouts for myself and our staff members. I'm gonna try to zoom in here so you can see. I took that photo of myself as the editor-in-chief staff mug. I took that photo of myself and I was trying not to smile. I was really trying not to smile, but it was kind of hard. And then you can see there's a little bit about each of us in Gaming Insurrection. So, layout-wise, it's not hard to do. It's actually pretty easy. It's fun to do. So, all right, we're going to stop here. And it's oh, I see my thing just told me that I recorded more than 10 minutes, which is hilarious. But it I like using the screen recorder that I have to record this, and so it's pretty fun. So all right, we're gonna end here. We're gonna make this be a 2-part thing, I guess. So bear with me. But that's all for the layout. We'll get the pictures in a little bit, I guess. I don't know. I mean, really, there isn't much to tell you about the pictures other than we do pictures and we put them all together. So, all right. I'm going to stop this here and we'll get back to you in just a few minutes.